Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Pounds to Kilos with me, Ed Morrison. My guest today is Jim Athanasopoulos. He is a good friend of mine and a ripping fellow. And I got Jim on because he was in the situation where he has recently purchased a CrossFit gym. That is, he took over an affiliate that he had been a member of in the past. He then went to another affiliate, and then the old affiliate came back up for sale and he bought the affiliate. And this is something we're seeing more and more of. And I'm really intrigued about the challenges that this has within it, and what went well for Jim, what didn't go so well, what he learned, what he would do different if he did it again. And I think it's a really valuable lesson, not just for people who are looking to purchase an affiliate, or a value episode, I should say, for people who are not just looking to purchase an affiliate, but people who have had an affiliate or attend an affiliate. There's some real nice moments of introspection from Jim in this episode where he looks critically at sort of what he did and the way that it sort of affected the community. And he's a really honest and genuine guy. And as affiliate owners go, we need affiliate owners like Jim who have their heart in the right place and are just trying to make people fitter. So it was a real pleasure to have him on. It was a real privilege to be at the gym with him. And I hope you enjoy this episode and get something out of it. Keep converting pounds to kilos.
Well, it was certainly a bit more orange then, wasn't it?
Yes, I actually quite like the blue. Can you talk me through the logo quickly? Because it's so prevalent in the gym and when you come into the gym.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, so did you put some thought into it? Or
We did. It explains quite a bit about my family background. My mother-in-law was Spartan.
Aha.
Right?
Thus the
And
Spartan
yeah, that does
helmet head.
explain that bit. And the courage and the humility are two values that I think describe this community. I wanted those two words to describe what CrossFit Blackburn was about. So, the courage to change and being humble about it.
I think humble is a word that a lot of CrossFitters, once they've done CrossFit for a while, understand that that's an important thing to have. Whether it's coaching or being an athlete or whatever it is, it's easy to show off in a CrossFit gym, so you got to try to be humble.
You have to be open to being humbled because CrossFit humbles us. The Open humbles us.
Yes.
We all got humbled in our first Open.
That's true. That's
right?
true.
And in order to progress as an athlete, you need to be prepared to be humbled, but life requires that of us too. It's like, in a way, you can't learn unless you're open to being humble.
Can I ask you about the blue? And I'm obviously going to talk to you a lot about the changes that you made to the gym, but blue is probably the opposite to the orange that it was. Was that the decision behind the blue to mark a change, or?
Again, I think that blue is close to a Mediterranean blue.
Okay.
And I think it doesn't have that retina searing effect that the orange did. Right?
The orange was.
Sometimes
the
I felt
orange was
after
this
half.
colour, just for those
I
watching.
felt after half an hour in this gym when it was orange, it was like you feel like Kramer from Seinfeld.
Yeah,
Whereas
right.
this has a different mood to it, and it matches well. It's calming.
Yes, I would. It's certainly more calming than the orange. Now, Jim, our viewers and our listeners are going to get a lot from this chat with you because you purchased this CrossFit gym, or you took this CrossFit gym over. How long ago did you take it over now?
I took over late November 2017, so we're approaching the 2-year mark.
Okay, God, that has gone amazingly quick.
The time flies when you're having fun.
Yes, and you seem to be having a lot of it, and that's something that I want to ask you about, so we can get the secret to what it's like to not the secret, but get an inkling as to what worked and what didn't work for you when you came in here. But before that, I think it's worth everyone knowing where you came to this position from. So what was life before being an affiliate owner? What were you doing beforehand?
I lived a very structured existence. As an athlete, I was a competitive cross-country mountain biker.
Right.
And to pay my bills, I had developed an e-business software supply chain solution, and I ran a business about that. So my existence was very corporate, very structured.
Yep.
I trained very hard.
Yep.
And in many respects, you know, an individual like yourself might have called me a little bit one-dimensional.
Right, okay. I don't call anyone one-dimensional, but no, I pick up what you're putting down. You were at CrossFit Diamond Valley training, is that right? So you were doing CrossFit at Diamond Valley, and you also had done it here as well at CrossFit
Correct.
Blackburn. Yeah.
Yes, so I trained at 2 different boxes. I did my intro session here in 2014. So I was training 14 hours a week, but it was mostly on a bike. And I remember back then, my intro session involved 15 wall balls, and I suffered DOMs for 2 days.
I still suffer
Right.
DOMs from wall balls, so that's fine.
That experience, it was like a eureka moment, and I discovered something new. And very soon I became so passionate about CrossFit. CrossFit not only as a way to compete, but you know, CrossFit as the best way to train, the best way to stay fit and healthy.
So when did the affiliate ownership become something you aimed for? Was it only once this gym became in need of a new owner, or had you had aspirations towards that for a while before this opportunity?
I went through a personal transformation in 2014.
Yep.
And I made some very important decisions back then. And one of those was to align myself with work that was closer to my values.
Right.
At that point, being a coach or being an affiliate was still
A while away.
a while away.
Yep.
Right? It was down the horizon. But the more I got into CrossFit, and especially after I did my level 1,
Yes.
and I was so inspired by the passion of the seminar crew. That really was, right? And I still am to this day. And I found CrossFit and coaching and being an affiliate as more than a job. It was really a vehicle to help people change, to help people become better, to give them the best out of their day. I know it's a cliche, but it still is what we do.
Yes, yes.
Right? And that happened to me in 2016.
So did you know, while you were working on that current business, the e-business that you had, did you know that there had to be at some point a change towards something that was closer to your values?
For a couple of years, yes. So my advice to people, because everyone has this dream after 15, 20 years in the hamster wheel that they will quit
Yes.
and do something they love.
Yep. Open
And
a
as
bookshop.
human beings, we tend to simplify that,
Yeah.
don't we? So it goes from this, which is a grind, to something which is amazing.
Yeah.
That's never real life.
Yeah.
There's always a transition period, and we have to take that into. We have to account for that transition period.
Sure.
And we have to account for the fact that there's going to be challenges either way.
Yep.
But we have to have faith in our vision and our goals that is ultimately how I want this chapter of my life to be, and we have to have a commitment to see it through. And
Yeah.
we need to have a plan.
Right. Let's talk about the plan of taking over CrossFit Blackburn. So when you realised there was an opportunity to purchase the affiliate, what were the few things that you looked for, whether it be the books or the culture or the facility? What were the things that you just knew had to be in place for you to say, yes, I can take over this affiliate?
Great question. I had the advantage of being a member here for 3 years.
Sure. Okay.
Right? So I knew very much what I was getting myself into. But to anyone wanting to make that step, right, and that would be my advice, become part of the community, because that is really the only way you can get your finger on the pulse.
Yes.
Right, to understand the intricacies of the coaching, the programming, see how the members feel about the place.
Sure.
So train them.
Yes.
But then from a due diligence perspective, you want to make sure that the permits are in place,
Yes.
that the place is not bleeding money,
Yeah, okay. Yep.
right? So you want to know what it is that you're getting yourself into, and there's 2 parts to that.
Sure.
A, what sort of a gym, what sort of a community am I taking over here? Because this is not just an investment, there's an emotional commitment.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
So you need to know what it is that you're inheriting. But you also want to make sure that the business that you're buying is legitimate.
Yes, of course. You didn't speak too much to the staff and the classes, you weren't training at Blackburn at the time. Is that correct?
I was not training at Blackburn at the time that I bought CrossFit Blackburn. I was training at CrossFit Diamond Valley.
Diamond Valley. I've got a question which will be hard for you to answer, but you can do your best. Do you think you would have bought a different gym that you weren't familiar with? So if there was the opportunity to buy a gym that you hadn't trained at, that you weren't familiar with the community or the members, do you think you would have purchased that? Or if you do you think you would have gone through the same process?
I would have purchased a different gym.
Okay.
I would have purchased a different gym. I was willing to start from scratch.
Sure.
My commitment was to make this happen.
Right.
The fact that CrossFit Blackburn was available for sale at the time, to use a footballing analogy, you know how people often described Richmond as the sleeping giant before they won a premiership, before they won a flag.
Yes.
As much as it irks us Collingwood supporters that...
And Carlton.
Okay. Pushing that aside, that's how I saw this.
Right.
I felt that CrossFit Blackburn has this amazing community, this amazing facility,
right,
and that it was a giant waiting to awaken, and that's sort of journey that we've undertaken here, that we've embarked on.
I want to ask you or harp back to your values. So eventually the decision to say, yes, I'm going to purchase this, had to line up with your values. So can I ask the question, in relation to your values, why did you end up purchasing CrossFit Blackburn? What are you hoping to achieve in order to satisfy your values, if that makes sense?
Simple. This job, this facility, allows me to make more of a positive contribution than my previous one. And I feel that in the rewards that this job offers me.
Sure.
What is that reward? I value the trust-based relationships that I get with my members.
Yes.
I feel privileged that I can make the change in their lives, that I can make them stronger, that I can make them more confident, that I can make them happier.
Right.
And that to me means more than having more.
Right. So I think this is a frank conversation that's worth having for anyone who is thinking about purchasing an affiliate. Is it fair to say that what you were doing previously was more financially lucrative than potentially what you're doing now?
You'll probably have to talk to my accountant to
Okay,
get the lower level detail.
Sure.
But definitely, I don't feel that anyone that would invest in an affiliate does so because they desire the lifestyle of the rich and famous, right?
Yep.
So I think that if your goal is A, I'll get an affiliate, and B, private yacht in the Caribbean, that's not how it works out.
Sure.
Definitely. It's not a lucrative business model. Having said that, I feel that every affiliate has the potential to create a successful business, a successful standalone business, and they should want to do that because that's what will make their business sustainable.
Right. Let's talk about the first few months of owning a new affiliate. This is challenging for you because I know that you had a good relationship with the old affiliate owners, and like you said, you trained here for many years and they gave you the start of this, but I know, and I'm sure anyone who opens or takes over a gym would know, that naturally there's going to be some change when a new owner comes in. How quickly did you want to change things? So I'm going to ask you about specific changes, but was your goal to simply come in at the start and just keep things going the way they were so people didn't feel like you were...
I was advised to do that.
Okay. Did you do it?
No.
Okay, good. That makes for a more interesting podcast anyway. All right, so I'm going to ask you two things then. What was the first thing you changed? What was the first item on the agenda? This needs to change.
From day one?
Sure. Let's start there.
Okay. The programming...
Before you answer for a moment, sorry. Just so we're clear, this information you're giving is for anyone, any affiliate that might feel they need to make change? This is not specific to this particular affiliate. It's just your story. Sorry, go ahead.
It is historic, and I need to be careful because, you know, it's a year and a half ago now.
Yes.
And I need to make sure that I'm giving you information that's accurate.
Yes.
And that it's also helpful.
Yes. Yes.
Right? And fair.
Yes. Yes.
The changes that I wanted to make, can I take a step back and just say
Sure.
that I went into this with the view that my values into this were, this was a business that was steady, but wasn't in any way overwhelming,
Okay.
right? So that things needed to change because doing more of the same is just going to have the same result.
Sure. Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I was also very committed to carefully defining what the core product was going to be and
Yes.
focusing on that during the first 6 months,
Right.
right?
Okay.
To use a simple analogy, that is a baker buying a bakery and saying, I'm all about the bread.
Right.
I'm not about the vanilla slices, right?
Yeah.
I'm not about the coffee scrolls.
Sure.
I want to make some awesome bread.
Right. What was your
So that meant the three things, right? What is it that makes the CrossFit core offering awesome?
Yep.
Programming, coaching, community. So
Right.
that were the first things that I focused on from day one. So it was, our program is going to be different. You know, we're going to have things that make us unique.
Sure.
Right? And the way we deliver this program is going to be different. And the number one thing, the first thing, the loudest thing we said to people on the day that we took over, it's smart to scale.
Right. Okay. So that
But that's just specific to CrossFit Blackburn,
Sure.
right?
Well, I think it's a great point for any affiliate. But if that's a point that needed to be reiterated, then obviously that's a great one to make. You said coaching, community, and programming. I feel like that's everything. I feel like that encompasses so much. If you were to look back and think which one had the most profound effect on making this place what it is now, which one is it?
Very good question. So which of those three would I prioritize?
Yeah. Which one did you prioritize?
I cheated.
Okay.
I cheated because I knew that that question was going to come from you. And to make sure that what I'm telling you now would be validated by the people that train here, I asked a few people as they finished the midday session, and I said, Ed's going to ask me this, right? And I'm going to tell Ed that the biggest change was that coaching became more personalized.
Okay. Talk me through
What that means?
Yeah, what that means.
This is what we've RX'd,
Right.
and this is the load.
Right.
But this is what I feel is ideal for you today.
Right. So you're speaking again to that scaling piece more so.
Scaling's so important.
Right.
It means that our values were training smarter is more important than training more or lifting heavier, right? But that goes back to what we had here before, which was, and I don't mean to offend because this place has always had amazing people.
Sure.
Amazing coaches, amazing members, right? But right back in 2014, it was a case of, if you can try to lift this, you should.
Right. Right.
And we wanted that to turn.
So what I'm hearing is you used scaling as a way of beginning to make the program much more personalized, and I can only
And inclusive.
and inclusive, and I can only imagine that through scaling that very much had a change on the culture of the place as well.
Very much so. Very, very much so. Because that was probably, that was probably a hard thing for people to accept. So I had an intern, a coaching intern, mentioned to me during the class was, this person had a good workout even though they chose to scale.
Right.
And I corrected them and I said that this person had a good workout because they scaled.
Sure. Do you think that for other people taking over other gyms, that it might not necessarily be scaling, it could be something else, but ultimately there's probably a piece of the program that could be done better. And if that's done better, then that sort of becomes the cultural change at the same time.
Yes. Scaling. I mean, it's a simple concept, right? But as Einstein said, you know, if you cannot explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough.
Great
right?
quote. Great
and that just because something's simple, it doesn't mean that it's not powerful, and it doesn't mean that you can't change a community and a culture based on something simple.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, it's valuable because it's easy to understand. So, and I had the advantage of having trained here before, which is why my advice goes back to anyone looking to make that leap, is go get to know that place. See where the opportunities lie. Become intimate with the opportunity.
So you knew what was missing because you trained here.
I'll say missing in my view because
Sure.
You know, in for a number of individuals, the changes that I wanted to implement weren't great, right?
Well, we're going to ask about that for sure. In fact, why don't we do it now? Before I ask about people not loving changes, I know that you have an idea of what the biggest change was. What do you think people noticed as the biggest change? Because I think a lot of people are able to see the changes in programming quite easily. Like they're normally quite objective. Like, oh, we're doing a lot more of A, B, C, whereas cultural changes are more nuanced to see. So did people notice the change in programming a lot?
They noticed the change in how we briefed each session.
Sure.
That happened from week one.
Right.
And how we found that the brief was an opportunity to create access paths between what we've got on the board and people.
Sure. So not just programming, implementation of programming.
Implementation and communication.
Okay.
Right, and I feel that it was like, oh, it's okay that I can do this.
Right.
Yeah. And then they felt that, you know what, this session felt good. I don't feel broken.
Right.
I want to train again tomorrow.
Love it. Well, that's important. Let's talk about things that were challenging. You said that a number of people, well, not a number of people, there were people that didn't like certain changes. What was the most common pushback to the changes you made? What was the most common, hey, I think I'm leaving Blackburn?
For one reason or another, people that were very important in this organisation, like the previous head coach, you know, who's a lovely human being. As you know, with CrossFit, there's loyalties.
Sure.
Right? Because CrossFit is about community. You know, there's people
Bond.
become bound.
Yep.
And we didn't see eye to eye. The direction that I was taking and the direction that
they wanted to go in was slightly different.
Same, right? So I think
we can all be mature. That happens. Yep.
I think that for a large number of people, it became a case of if I stick around or if I give this a go, I'm betraying the head coach.
I understand.
Right? So they voted with their feet.
Did you try to talk those people around, or was it very much a, hey, I respect that's where you're at, best of luck with
my position was that in order for me to prove that my intentions for CrossFit Blackburn and for this community are good, you have to be receptive to it.
Sure.
Right? And I think that once most people make up their minds.
Yeah. Their minds are made up.
Yeah, their minds are made.
I suppose that's not necessarily a change you made as such. That's just a personnel change.
It was a repercussion.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a change with a ripple effect.
Yes.
Right? And I think I'm not the only affiliate in the world. It's a common thing. Right?
I think almost any affiliate that has parted ways with a coach has probably in one way or another had to part ways with some athletes eventually due to that. Maybe not immediately, but maybe down the line there's a decision, I just don't feel like I'm relevant.
Ed, is that, you can philosophize it and say to a certain level that change is difficult. Change is difficult for people, whether it's a good change or bad change. there's always going to be challenges
Sure.
and repercussions, and you've got to, from my perspective, it was a case of, this is what I'm going to stand for.
Sure.
I believe in this.
Yes.
And that if I don't stand for something, I stand for nothing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I've never been happy to see people go, but I understood and I respected people's decisions to do so.
I know that when you came in here, that you had every intention of keeping the current staff, provided that the fit was right. How did you broach that initial conversation with the staff? Like, what was the first thing you said to the staff when you met them?
There was fragmentation. So in my case, and I wouldn't wish this
Sure.
on anyone, right? I took over a team that wasn't on the same page.
Right.
So it was actually the logistics of it. Was it even getting everyone together in the same room, right?
I know that problem.
Was a challenge. It was like herding cats, but cats that didn't like each other,
Right.
right?
Right.
So it was a case of being transparent and being open about the changes that were going to take place,
Sure.
and letting people decide.
Yep.
At this stage, where now we have none of the original people with us,
Right.
right?
Would you, if I had told you that in 2017, if I had said, Jim, in 2 years, or a year and a half as it is now, you won't have any of the current staff members working at Blackburn, what would your initial response to that be? Would you be a bit worried that that's how it went down, or would you be understanding, or how does that sit with you, that that's the way the cards have fallen? Because
I think for the, some people leave because their life circumstances change.
Sure.
Not because, and I think if you've given me the benefit of sticking around,
yes.
which there were a couple that did, right?
Yep.
And that during your time with me, I have supported you. I have helped you gain knowledge, improve your job. I have created a happy space for you to work in, and help you experience what a good team is like, functions like, right?
Yep.
So then our collaboration has been mutually beneficial.
Sure.
Well, then your life circumstances change and you have to leave, and that's okay.
Yes.
That's all right. That's life.
Yes,
Nothing
yep.
is forever.
Sure.
So if you're going to tell me that some of them are going to leave because of that, which is what has taken place,
Sure.
I'm comfortable.
Yes.
But I always knew, I was always aware that taking over, that change was going to be difficult. I was hopeful that I'd be able to keep everyone.
Yep.
But it didn't eventuate, no.
Can I ask you on a personal level, how hard was it? Like, I can imagine that that's a confronting situation that would have caused a fair bit of stress and, a little bit of, not anxiety, that's probably not the right word, but was it a tough time?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. There were dark moments.
Sure.
And a work environment is still people interacting.
Yes.
And your words have power, your actions have power, right? And as human beings, we're emotional entities. So there's always going to be an emotional impact, right? And I think that goes back down to your values, right? So you say, okay, this is difficult. This is a difficult time.
Sure.
I didn't expect it to be this difficult.
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't expect it to be this. But I believe in what I'm doing. I have great support, good friends, great support at home. I have sources for good advice, and I know that what I'm doing will ultimately end well. If you have that faith, that keeps you going.
What I do know, and I suppose this is the positive, is that you've got a team now that you're very pleased with. And they're a great coaching team. I'm familiar with the vast majority of them, I believe. When you had that opportunity to start implementing new staff, what were you looking for in terms of, like, I guess this is the question I'd like to ask. If you were looking for a new staff member now, they'd be coming into an affiliate that's already established. But did you look for different traits because of the situation that you were in? Did you look for stronger personalities because you knew that it was a volatile situation that you'd just sort of taken over and were in the first few months? Or did you simply just have to get people you knew could coach in the door?
Again, it pays to have a support network where people can get referred, right?
Sure.
I think at the start, the things that I was looking for at the start are different to what I would look for now.
Okay, interesting. Talk me through that, because that fascinates me.
Well, 2 years ago, we were relatively new to the Caper.
Yep.
And it was enough to find somebody that I could trust, somebody that would align with those values that I was about, somebody
Sure.
that was familiar with the programming and the culture and the sort of coaching that I wanted implemented here.
Yep.
You know, that was tick, tick, tick.
You're in. Yep. Suit up. You're on.
You're in. My view now is that I would love the opportunity to help develop somebody like that,
Okay, sure.
right?
That makes perfect sense to me. So you need seasoned campaigners on the job at first, and now you've got the opportunity to.
Now I have the luxury to devote time into development, right? And to mold more special people that can do this job of coaching that we love so much,
Sure.
right?
Yes.
So, you know, who makes a good coach? Somebody that puts their hand up and says, you know, I want to help others. It's not just about my own training.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And then you say, you know what? There's not one set way of doing this. But I can open up to you how I do it.
Yes.
And then you can build your own brand on that.
Sure.
Right? I was less open to doing that a couple of years ago.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Right? Because you're putting out fires, spot fires, left, right and centre. You've got 25 members moving out. You've got a huge facility upgrade to coordinate. You want to make sure that everything's happy. You know, you're not sitting in the position where I am now where you're relatively assured that there's light at the end of the tunnel and that light is not a train.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Right.
And I think it's not realistic to expect that you would get into an affiliate. You would become an affiliate owner, and that from day one you would be sitting where I am now. That you would be right to consider yourself extremely fortunate if that is the case.
Sure. On your personal journey as a coach, because throughout all of this, one thing we haven't mentioned is that you were still developing yourself as a coach. You were relatively new to coaching.
Absolute newbie.
And how much time were you able to devote to the craft of coaching / the craft of being an affiliate owner, or did you view them as one and the same thing?
They're definitely not the same.
Okay.
I think coaching is the most enjoyable part of the job.
Sure.
I think being an affiliate owner involves a lot of nitty-gritty work that is less fun.
You're not the first person to say that on this.
No, I'm probably not the first person to say that, but being an affiliate owner is important. How so? This business is important, so you are custodian of an important entity.
Sure.
Right? Because this business changes lives, right? So I feel a need and a duty to make it sustainable so that it can continue to exist, it can continue to help people, right?
Did your coaching development, not suffer, that's the wrong word, but was your development as a coach slightly slower because you had to put so much emphasis onto the affiliate role of the transition? Or were you able to still coach a huge amount of hours, or was it too overwhelming to do both of those things?
I think you need to make a commitment to learning, to continuous learning.
Sure.
And I was okay with being structured. I'm used to being very busy, right? So I used to put time aside, and there were times where I'd go see Adam at Richmond. I got heaps out of him. Our discussions together, were very, very helpful. You need to align yourself with people that can teach you. I work a lot with Lester, which has helped me with Olympic weightlifting.
Lester Ho,
and you need to invest that time, because the minute you stop, I think that the minute a coach says, I know enough,
Yep.
that's the start of going down. So I don't think that I'll ever stop seeing myself as a newbie or a rookie, as a learner, because I think that that's how I can best offer service.
So your advice, I guess, to somebody who goes into that affiliate ownership role of a new gym is
Put time aside to keep learning.
so don't abandon ship on the coaching prowess piece, otherwise it's going to flow across to all aspects of the gym.
Look, the previous owners did not coach.
Sure. Okay.
And if you ask the people that trained here, that was unusual. It wasn't ideal.
Sure.
And coaching is, as an affiliate owner, as a business owner, coaching is your best opportunity to create relationships with your customers and how to make a difference and how to help them. That's your core offering. You need to be involved with coaching. You need to make yourself a great coach.
I have a question for you on that. I know of a few gyms where the affiliate owner isn't coaching, but they still have that sort of mentor coaching role to athletes, but not in the official way of necessarily taking a session. Do you think that can work for an affiliate owner?
Definitely.
Okay, so
Definitely.
there's shades of grey.
Well, there's plans in place where, you know, I could at some stage
Step back a little bit.
be second man on the ground. So,
Okay.
Right, there's an opportunity to do that.
Yep.
Having said that, I love coaching the Saturday morning
Yeah.
other class.
Yes, yeah.
Right, I'm very territorial about that, and
Sure.
it will take a lot for me to give that class away.
Right. I think it's an interesting. I'm really fascinated by this conversation because what I'm hearing is that there's a distinction between taking a class and coaching people, and you can coach people without necessarily taking classes if you're in the affiliate and constantly there being able to touch base with people. And that brings me to my next line of questioning. I know that a big part of what you wanted to instill here was getting to know people and getting to know the membership base. And you often talk to me that one of the most important things that you wanted your coaches to do was just to simply get to know the members, ask them how they are. Was that key to the transformation of Blackburn, that sort of change there?
And that's an ongoing transformation.
Right.
I want my coaches to develop relationships with the members. I feel that getting somebody to read a workout off the board and explain scaling options and high five at the end, that's template, cookie cutter coaching,
Sure.
right? But seeing your coaching as an opportunity to develop a network, develop a connection with a human being, getting to know them as a person, coach that person, I think that's next level. And I think that that's an opportunity that not many take,
Right.
but I think should be a priority. And it was something that we were discussing before. How important is it to coach the person?
Yes.
And then coach CrossFit, then
Yes.
coach the movement.
Yeah, CrossFit is the stimulus that you give the person you're coaching.
It is. And people will trust you if you coach them as a person.
Do you know what? I'm going to do a bit of a 180 right now because we're talking, I guess, about getting to know people and sort of some deep philosophical coaching questions. But I think it would be remiss of me to not ask you, for our listeners, about some of the financials in terms of the gym. Now, I know that when you took it over, talk me through some of the things you invested in. So there's the paint job that we can clearly see, the bathrooms as well.
Well, yes. What have we changed?
Yeah, what
run
have you
through
changed?
this?
Yeah, from a brick and mortar point of view, what have you changed?
Equipment. So we've got new barbells, bumper plates, 5 assault bikes, GHDs. So there's equipment. There's
Sure.
a lot of new equipment.
Sure.
Wall balls. In terms of the facility, change rooms, a member breakout area, kitchenette,
Sure.
showers, infrared sauna.
Infrared sauna.
I feel that there's a gentrification that's
Okay.
taking place,
I like that.
right? Website,
Okay, so change of website. Yep.
absolutely. You know,
Yeah.
there's a as an affiliate, I think one of the questions that was invariably going to come my way was that what sort of changes did you have to make that you didn't think would require change? Didn't think were going to be that much
That's
work?
a great question. I wish I'd asked it. Now that you've asked it, can you answer it for me?
Yeah, sure. Sure. The 21st century, as we talk about a digital existence, right?
Sure.
You need to make sure that as a business owner, you understand what are my customer contact points.
Right.
Right? Now, there's digital customer contact points.
Sure,
so that
sure.
means that there's a social media presence,
Absolutely.
that there's a website presence, and you really need to separate yourself. You need to understand that those things are important. It might not be important in ways that you could quantify,
Yes.
but they have a huge strategic significance.
Okay.
Perception is reality, so you need to have that. And I didn't understand how much work it is to maintain a consistent
Yes.
presence.
I think a lot of modern businesses are finding it hard to keep up that content, and they often outsource that type of content. Your social media presence is quite strong. You guys release a lot of good content. Was that always the goal as soon as you took over, or did you only
wasn't the
realise
goal.
it? You
No,
realised it down the track.
Look, and again, without wanting at all to sound, disrespectful,
Sure.
the previous social media presence was incidental.
Okay.
So it was either, you'd have a coach topless,
Sure. Sure.
linking 100 cleans, power cleans, or handstand walking, or
Linking 100 power cleans.
yeah,
I know what you
sessions,
mean.
right? Whereas what we decided that, look, that's not what we want to portray going
look
forward.
like,
It
yeah.
has to be about the members. It has to be about all these heroes that come in here and have the courage to change, and we've got to respect and acknowledge their efforts and be passionate about that and
Sure.
reward them,
Sure.
right? So we made that change. You're going to ask me about the financials as well.
Well,
you never go into this.
No, I don't necessarily want a dollar figure, but I suppose were the financials what you expected?
Finances, yes, they were. Simply because it's not hard to do the arithmetic,
Okay.
right? So
that's
you've
a
got
great
so
answer.
many members. It is,
Yep.
isn't it?
Yep.
You've got so many members. You know that the lease is going to cost you this much. You've got the insurance, the affiliate fees, the software fees,
Yep.
right? Cleaning, etc. At a buffer, and very roughly your coaching costs.
Yep.
You know what your balance is going
Right.
to be like, right? I think where most affiliate owners can grow is if they step back and start looking at their organisation in terms of a set of processes.
Right.
Right? Yep. And learn to abstract that admin and say, okay, for my organisation to be successful and sustainable, this is what I need to achieve. These are the sort of numbers I need to achieve.
Right.
Then break that down and say, how do we achieve that? How do we get that? How do we make that journey from here to there? What is the time frame? What are the resources that I need to dedicate to this? And what sort of advice, what sort of information do I need that will help me make this happen? Understand that there's going to be an element of risk because
Sure.
that's life,
That's
nothing
life, yep.
ventured, nothing
Gained.
gained, and just back yourself to execute. I think that every great success in life requires us to somehow overcome some fear, some self-doubt, and just give it a go. And, I didn't want to get to the stage where you get to the end of the chapters and you reflect on the fact that I had an amazing opportunity to do something different there. And I was shit scared.
I was going to ask you how scared you were actually, how much fear there was, but I kind of know because you were very honest about that. And I think one of your superpowers is that you are very honest about that vulnerability, and that vulnerability brings about some strength. And Jim, we're gonna wrap things up, and I'm going to wrap things up with a question which I hope you can take this whatever direction you want to take it. You talked before about perception versus reality. When you came in here, I'm sure there's some things that needed to be changed, and then I'm sure there's some things that maybe didn't needed to be changed, but you wanted to change them so that people could see, hey, we're changing. What was the ratio between those two things? How many things needed to be changed, and how many things did you just change just to put your new stamp on things and let people know?
That you are a velvet sledgehammer. You really are.
The only person I've ever heard described like that is Matthew Lloyd.
That is a very confronting question, because it forces me to look back on that period. And because I respect you, I'm going to have to be honest and say that I didn't have to change as much as I actually did change.
I like that as an answer, and I still think that you changed the right amount, but go on.
That is subjective.
Sure.
Arguably, I could have kept going exactly as it was. Would I be feeling the same satisfaction that I feel now? The answer is no. Would I be able to look you in the eye and say, I'm damn happy with what I've achieved? Right? No. But I didn't have to change. No one was holding a gun to my head saying, you have to do this with the programming, you have to do this with the coaching, because the people here really didn't know any better or different.
Sure.
But maintaining the status quo is not why I invested in this place in the first place.
Jim, it's been a pleasure.
And it's always a pleasure.